Okay, but why do you think it's important for artists to be real? Like when you think
Be
about
real,
okay, hold on.
because if you're not real.
When you think about like actors, right? They play a script.
Yeah, but they're actors. That's a whole. They're like, it's inspired by. So it's not like they're faking it. It's inspired by. They're telling a story. They're representing somebody, a character. You know what I'm saying? But it's like when you're like trying to be that character, like you're like, this is who I am, and it's not who you are. That's the problem.
You can't like a fake artist, even if the music is good.
It just doesn't hit home. Let's get it. What's up? It's your girl BADDA season. You know what I'm saying? We out here all the way from Ottawa. So I'm a rapper, singer, songwriter, actress, model. I do it all. Brand ambassador, Siempre Tequila. Just all around businesswoman.
Yo, let me know, what made you pick up the pen? Like, what was the thing that initial thing that made you pick up the pen?
Well, I don't know if people know this, but like back in the days, like when I was in middle school, high school, like we used to do a lot of poetry. And I was really, really good at poetry. And I used to like present my poetry in front of the class and everything. And everybody always like really loved my poetry. Like they were like, wow, like you're so good at this. So then I was kind of like, so I guess I started from like a poetry base. And then like once I started like growing up and like, you know, watching MTV, all these things, watching all these artists do their thing, like I'm like, I could do that too. You know, like I knew that I had the wordplay. I knew that I had the knowledge for that. And like my brothers always grew up like listening to like the best hip hop and everything. So I feel like that also influenced me as well to pick up my pen.
I like to ask people like what their first song is. If you remember your first song, which you probably do. But do you remember the first like lines that you wrote down?
My first lines or bars, like it's hard to say because like I said, I was doing more poetry in the beginning, which was still bars, you know what I'm saying? It's like the same thing, but like the first like bars that like I wrote for my song would be for Check After Check. These people is hating, they look but don't say shit. Like that was like the first time I really wrote on a track, you know?
It was that what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
These people is hating, they look but don't say shit. Tell them to speak up, they like they don't say it. Yeah. Tell them I see you, I know what you're saying. Hating on the kid, but no, she ain't playing. You know what this is, then stop the nonsense. Talking that shit gets you check after check. Gotta do it all again. Day after day, pop one again, spark one again, hit it again. Pussy got you feeling litty again. That line went crazy. That line went crazy. That was all over Twitter. Go back Twitter 2016, 17. That line was all over Twitter. All the girls from high school were tweeting that line.
That wasn't your first line.
Yeah, that was my first lines. You can ask the Cave recording studio because they're with me.
Shout out the Cave.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you do that as a first lines? Because I think everyone had like a little rap career. Everyone.
Yeah.
And my first lines weren't like that.
When you just goaded like that, it'd be like that.
Okay. Talk about your first song as well. How was that?
Yeah, Check After Check. So, you know, I was recording and I felt like I was more in my singing bag, which is fine. But then, I was at the studio and they kept saying like, yo, your bars would go really good with some raps. Like you should rap these bars instead of singing them. And I was like, no, you guys are crazy. Like I need to sing, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to sing really bad. And then they're like, no, like these bars go really hard. Like you should rap it. So like Check After Check was supposed to be like a fully like melodic song. But then once I like rapped the verse, I sang the hook and then I like rapped the verse and it just, it had more power to it. So I was really loving that. So I just dropped it. I sang the hook and then I rapped the verse. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to turn out like that, but it did.
Like if you were to teach me the most simplest and most effective way to make a song, how would you teach me how to do that?
The simplest advice is don't try too hard. Like when you start trying too hard, like it just flops. Like you need to really get in that zone, get in that ambiance, and then like, even like if it takes you 3-4 hours, like once you get in that zone, it's like, it's almost like the Holy Spirit taking over you. Like you don't even know what you're writing anymore. Like you just start writing and just gets inspiration and everything, and words that you didn't know you could say, and rhymes you didn't know you could rhyme. Like everything just comes to you, you know? So like just get in that zone. Once you get in the zone, once your soul is connected to that beat and to everything that you got going on, I feel like that's when you create real music. Like I feel like a lot of people are not genuine when they're making music, and they're like, oh my God, like it's so hard to make music. Well, because like you're trying too hard. Like you need to relax, you need to catch a vibe and let it come to you, and then greatness will come to you. But then again, like only the greats can relate to that advice.
Basically what I'm trying to say is, why did you continue when a lot of people stop?
I felt like I motivated a lot of people, and that helped me continue for sure. Like a lot of artists that you see today from Ottawa, like once I dropped that song, like they were hitting me up, like whether it was on SoundCloud or whether it was on Facebook or whatever, they were hitting me up and they're like, damn, I never knew I could do stuff like this. Like the way you hit in that song, the way the video, everything, your confidence, like I want to start doing this music stuff too. Like a lot of females started hitting me up, you know, like some of your favorite artists today were hitting me up talking about, you know, you're motivating me to really do this. And I was like, oh my God, I'm motivating people like that to pick up a mic. I'm like, then I must be doing something good. So then I feel like that really motivated me to keep going. The fact that like I saw people, like I was giving people confidence to like do what they wanted to do. I feel like that was really dope.
Do you want to talk about some of these people that were motivated by you but don't say it, or no?
Listen, at the end of the day, they know who they are. Everybody, listen, you can't like, unless they deleted their message, I'm pretty sure it's still there. Like, you know, like you can't, like the facts are there. I don't have to say who it is. They know who they are, so.
Who would you say is an artist that when you listen to, like you hear that they're going to the studio, you hear that they put in that effort? Who would that be for you?
Really doing their thing.
They're doing their thing because
really
I know.
This serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Who would that be?
It'd have to be Nikki. I have to be Nikki. Like she's really like serious about like that she writes her own bars, and you know, like she doesn't want like people saying that, oh, they did this for her, whatever. Like she's very prideful about that. I kind of like that she takes it seriously, and she's like willing to like die for that, you know? Like she doesn't want people to play with her pen.
And is that something that you take a lot of pride in as well?
Yeah, don't play with my pen because I'll murk you.
A common misconception that people have about you that's like you think that's completely off?
Definitely that. Like people just think like because they see me one way on social media, or they hear my voice some type of way on a track, or this or that, the way I dress, the way I take care of myself, whatever, or just, you know, because like the thing is, like I know what I deserve, and I feel like you can see that through my energy. Like, you know, like I know what I deserve, so that kind of comes off a little bit like, you know, diva style, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, I'm not even a diva like that. Like, when you hang out with me, like, I'm the most, like, sweetest person you're gonna hang out with, you know? But it's just like, but at the same time, I'm sweet, but I'm a sweet, sexy savage, you feel me? So it's like, that's what it is. So it's like, I know what I deserve, but at the end of the day, like, when you're around me, like, I'm not about to, like, make you feel some type of way. Like, I'm a very open-minded person, and I feel like people don't know that.
What was your first encounter with hip hop or R&B? What was the first thing that made you realize music wasn't just shit you heard at school, basically?
There's two artists that kind of gave me that feeling, which is Alicia Keys and Eve. Like they both kind of gave me that vibe where I was like, whoa, like this is, you know what I'm saying? Like this is something else, you know? Like I loved Alicia's style. I even bought her album and everything. Like I was a big fan. And then like EVE, like, so I kind of have those two sides to myself as well, where it's like I have my like Alicia Keys soft side, you know, like all about the good vibes, good energy. And then I have my EVE, like woof woof, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like it makes sense why those were the two artists that touched me. That when I saw their video and I heard their songs and everything, like I was like, oh my God.
Shit, did they make a song together? I feel like
they did. Gangsta Lovin'. Yeah, Gangsta Lovin', yeah, it is.
Oh, yes.
That's what we do. Like I still listen to that song like every week. Like
yeah.
Like every week, like I play this song. Like about the industry.
About the industry or about music in general?
I feel like I just don't like the cap. Like I don't like when people be capping in their music or whatever, or just the way they like trying to, you know, portray themselves like to the public. Like a lot of these artists be lying, and it's like, I know you lying. Like keep it real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those type of artists never last. You know, because it's like once we catch the cap, like you out. Like we don't even want to listen to you anymore. So it's like, I just be yourself. Like I feel like there's a lot of phoniness in the industry and all these things, artists being phony, you know, girls that grew up in like suburban neighborhoods acting like they're from the South and doing this and that. Like calm down. Like talk about what you know. Like, but yeah.
Okay, but why do you think it's important for artists to be real? Like when you think about
real,
okay, hold on.
real.
When you think about like actors, right? They play a script.
Yeah, but they're actors. That's a whole, that they're like, it's inspired by. So it's not like they're faking it. It's inspired by, they're telling a story. They're representing somebody, a character. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, when you're like trying to be that character, like you're like, this is who I am, and it's not who you are. That's the problem.
You can't like a fake artist, even if the music is good?
It just doesn't hit home. Like it's like, I know it's not real. I relate to artists that are real, that are giving me real experiences that they went through that I relate to. You know, like that's just, it gives more longevity to that relationship with the fan and the artist as well. You know?
Do you think there's anything like off limits on a song?
I don't know, cause hip hop, like, you know, if you're doing a diss record, like what's really off limits, you know? Like it's hard to say, because like hip hop can be a scary place sometimes, or it's like you doing that diss record, like there's nothing really off limits, you know? But like me personally, because like I grew up with respect, like I try to like leave kids out of it. I try to leave like things like that out of it. But like overall, like I feel like it's kind of off, like hip hop is kind of hip hop, especially if it's like a diss record. Like I feel like you kind of got to show out, you know?
So like, you know, yeah, kids, maybe people who've passed.
People,
like, what do you think?
But that's the thing, like some people will cross that line even though someone has passed, you know? I don't know, me personally, like I wouldn't cross the line like if someone had passed or whatever. Like your wife, your husband, I don't really care, but like, cause like that's hip hop, like I'm gonna get down to it. But like those type of things, like no, I wouldn't really cross the line like that. Unless like somebody crossed the line like that with me, like I might have to boo, you know, like period.
Could we talk about your feature with Pressa?
Yeah. Like
with him in the studio, like how did that all come about?
Yeah, so that feature happened like through DM. So we were talking on DM, and then I had a record, and then he heard the record. He was like, yeah, it's fire. Like I want to hop on it. And then I was like, okay. And then it happened pretty quick. Like he's like, oh, I have a studio session in Toronto at this such and such location. He's like, pull up, like let's knock the track down. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So then I pull up to the studio, you know, he was mad cool, you know, made me feel comfortable. So we knocked down the track, you know, like, and I'm not shy, like, you know, like I wanted him to fix up a few ad-libs, a few bars, and he was open-minded, he fixed it up. And I feel like the track turned out super fire.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of noise, you know, went #1 on Vibe 105, you know what I'm saying? Like it did its thing. So I was happy with that record.
Yeah, right around town, you were one of the first female artists to make music. I don't know if it's true or not, but could you speak on that? Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
Everybody knows it's true.
Talk about that.
Nobody was making music till I came out, like especially on some hip hop vibes. There was a girl that was making R&B vibes, you know, I'm gonna give that to her, but like hip hop vibes, there was no female making like rapping, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I came out, check after check, I was rapping, you know, saying what I had to say, I was talking my shit on the mic, and then, you know, a year or two later, 3 years later, everybody started popping out because, back to my story, I gave them that confidence that, oh, you can do this, even though you come from a small town. You know, someone told me, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that girls from Ottawa could like speak like this or rap like this. And I'm like, why not? Like, why not? Like, of course you can. You know, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, nobody can control you, you know? So it's like, I feel like once I did that, then the female scene started to pop off. And like I said, like a lot of artists that you hear today, they'll say that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the truth, you know? And like, you know, shout out to my boys at the cave, like they know that too, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what we do. Like, I really came out here, you know, I wasn't afraid, you know, I hopped on the mic, I rapped, I said what I had to say, I talked my shit, I released it. It was a movie, because all we do is shoot movies, that's what I told you. And then boom, the rest is history. BADDA season, everything happens for a reason, period.